Jay, your office has changed so much where now it seems like so much of it is raising NIL money. Can you talk about the evolution as you've been in the business of the athletic director's job, please?
I think it's certainly changed. I think that's a fair point. I think the days where you could only just had to focus on the coaches and student athletes has certainly changed, and going to continue to change. There's a lot of different kind of aspects of the job, from fundraising to driving revenue to finding new and different ways to support our student athletes, for sure. So it's definitely part of what we're doing every day.
Are there some strengths you've discovered at Michigan State that you maybe hadn't expected in the short time you've been on campus so far?
I think the first thing that has really, and I anticipated it, right, that the Spartan Athletics family was really strong, the fan base was really strong, people really cared for Spartan Athletics, and that has rung true the last month. I think I've traveled the state some, whether it's you're walking through an airport and you get to go green, or just the donors that I've had a chance to sit down with, the welcome we've received in East Lansing, that fan base, the strength and the passion they have for our teams and our student athletes has been really good.
On the flip side, are there any weaknesses you feel like you need to shore up?
I certainly getting started, only been a month, so lots to figure out, to look through, but nothing that I can call out at the moment.
You hired John Palumbo from Georgia Tech. I know you guys go way back, but
yeah.
What does he bring to East Lansing with you?
Gosh, John's such a steady person. He'll handle a lot of our kind of operational day-to-day things, and so as I'm out doing a lot of the things we talked about on the road, meeting with our folks, meeting with our fans, donors, etc., John will spend a lot of the time working with the great staff we already have. We've got great people in East Lansing already, and so John will work with the team on board on the day-to-day operations, and then certainly dive in with Coach Smith. He worked with football directly at Georgia Tech, and so we'll do that with Coach Smith diving in there.
How far back do you guys go? I know he was at, I think, James Madison, a couple of these different spots.
So John and I were together, just missed each other at William Mary at our first jobs in college athletics, nearly 25 years ago at this point, or 20 years ago, and then we were together for several years at the University of Maryland.
What have you learned in your discussions with the donors in the NIL space for Michigan State right now? Like, where are you at with that?
I'll just tell you that certainly it's a topic that everybody wants to know. What are we doing, and what's the future of it? I think it's evolving, right? And we're focused on the House settlement. How do we make that work? How do we learn the new rules and the structure that goes with it? I think more than anything that they care passionately about our teams, and they want us to be successful. And so certainly, I'll tell you, working through what does the post-House settlement era look like, what are the opportunities for our student athletes, it's at the very top of our list each and every day, and our fans are going to be supportive.
I know some athletic directors have talked about the difference between maybe being aggressive in this landscape with some of the rules not being fully laid out or understood, or some norms being set. I'm curious if you plan for Michigan State to be aggressive in this changing year of college athletics.
I would just tell you that we're going to make sure our student athletes have all the opportunities that we possibly can. That's going to take lots of different forms and shapes, and across the landscape, but we're certainly going to be in that space.
What have these first few weeks, days of this revenue split era been like? What sort of new discussions, problems, solutions have come about with it? And I guess what can you say sort of about where that split is in terms of how much is going to football or basketball?
I can't necessarily give you all that, but I'd just tell you that our student athletes participating in, we've got student athletes entering deals in NIL Go. I don't believe any of them had those NIL Goes decline, but certainly that's every day going with them. They're doing a good job with that. The system's working well, and hello, Mark. And it's going well. So I think they're diving into that, and it's going.
Football-wise, when we talked to you, you hadn't even started yet technically, but what have sort of been those early conversations around football in terms of getting to know Coach Smith, getting to know what the program needs, and just where things have to go?
I think there's a lot of confidence in the building. I think there's getting in there, talking to our folks, talking to our student athletes a little bit, talking to our coaches a little bit. There's a lot of confidence in the process and the growth, and so I'm certainly looking forward to getting on the field and me getting to see some practice, and I'm excited for that progress. And I think that confidence that they have, that we've made a lot of strides, has been good.
Jay, Jonathan is extremely respected around the country as a developer of talent, but nowadays it's more than just facilities and coaches. The NIL part of the game. My question to you is, as an athletic director, do you feel like maybe there's a little bit of a foundation now, or do you still think there's a lot more coming to till you figure out all the NIL and all the details.
Listen, we've been competitive in the NIL space. We're going to continue to be competitive in the NIL space. It's part of the equation. I think being naive not to think that as we go into the rev share era, that whether it's rev share, whether it's kind of the NIL ecosystem, working through that and doing everything that we're allowed to do within the rules to support our student athletes, it's going to be a big part of it. But Jonathan's done a great job, and I think the one thing you mentioned that it is part of is it's about culture. And building a culture that our student athletes, they have opportunity to grow. He is a great developer of talent, and I think to the earlier point, there's a lot of confidence in the building that development's been ongoing.
Your predecessor, Alan Haller, had kind of not said the idea was there, but had talked about maybe corporate sponsorships for some of the stadiums, Spartan Stadium, maybe Munn, some of those. I'm curious if that's something that your office would consider in your administration.
We'll consider anything that helps put us in the best position to be successful. And so, naming rights are something that have to be very thoughtful. You've got to make sure that it's the right partner that aligns with the values and the missions of the institution. And certainly don't have anything to share at the moment. But yeah, we're going to consider all opportunities. I think the changing landscape, the need for revenue, you've got to look broad at all the opportunities you have on your campus.
The remodeling of Spartan Stadium, some of the outside things that were put forth before you got here, are those still going to be ongoing under you? Or?
Certainly looking at all of that. We've got taking a look at everything holistically. There will be some changes that fans will notice right out of the gate. Obviously the renovation of the West Side Premium looks really good. We've made some nice seats for you guys. It'll be really good. But also, the premium seating's been renovated really good. The new video boards look great. We've really looked at game day opportunities, right? With Levy coming on board, I think our concessions operation will be dramatically improved. And there are a couple other twists in the game day production that you guys will notice when we get in the game.
Have you had a Melting Moments ice cream sandwich? I know that was directly referenced that those are staying.
I have not had one yet. I have not, but I certainly will.
The last couple of years, you've been in the ACC, you've been in the SEC, now you're in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Being experienced there, just where are you at with, the playoff is obviously a huge topic right now. What's sort of your opinion of where that should go?
At the end of the day, I think I'm certainly for anything that keeps us having as many teams as possible in the hunt, as late as possible with interesting games. And I know Commissioner Batigui's done a great job representing the Big Ten and our opinion about that, and know that he and the rest of the commissioners are working close on that. But I'm certainly a fan of rewarding the Big Ten, the quality of our league. We've got top to bottom, I think, the best football league in the country. And so certainly as that format evolves, making sure that's recognized. And then in that format, anything we can do to create interesting games down the line, I think is really good.
Do you have a preference in terms of number and then the whole automatic qualifying stuff? I know that's not your decision, I guess,
Yeah.
but do you have any thoughts or opinions on those things?
I'll just say I think anything that rewards that quality is important. We play, I think, one of the hardest schedules in the country. We've got the best league top to bottom in football. We play 9 games, and certainly the right way to reward that, I know Commissioner will work through that.
At your introductory press conference, I think you were talking about, in order to survive in this day and age, football has to kind of bear the brunt of that. I guess what are sort of the expectations for this year's football season? I guess it's hard when an AD is not the one who hires the coach, and there's that sort of alignment and timeline going on.
Yeah, I think just certainly I expect that we're going to continue to make progress. And you said it earlier, Jonathan's a great developer of talent. I think there's a ton of confidence in the building, and I think as that continues to go forward, I think that progress will continue to be made.
What can you say about where the NCAA stuff's at?
NCAA stuff.
Yeah, investigation stuff.
I just can say that we're continuing to cooperate with that investigation and don't have any additional update.
Have you received the notice of allegation yet? I know that was a sticky point before.
Certainly gotten briefed on the situation, and can't say anything further.
The Olympic arena,
Yeah.
are the plans still going forward in that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it'd
Olympic
be great.
sports?
I think the entire district concept would be a great asset to our community and to our campus. We continue to make progress around that. The Olympic Sport Arena would be a tremendous asset to Michigan State, to all of our sports. But certainly the bigger concept is a great asset for East Lansing and for our community.